busker is an English street musician, and in many instances, the busker is literally a one-man band. It's also the very appropriate name given to a playable sound sculpture created by artist and musician Ken Lovelett. Ken's busker is a unique sonic assemblage that finely balances itself between the poles of art and function, and in this case, the object-instrument dichotomy is rarely held in such satisfying equipoise. Ken's ears are always attuned for identifying musically usable sounds, and his eyes always open to structurally interesting forms. In fact, the busker owes its overall shape to a clothes rack he purchased at Big Scott's going out of business sale back in 1983. Ken spotted a large chrome spiral stand, and rather than a rack of silk blouses or denim shirts, he immediately envisioned it festooned with objects which could be struck, plucked, scraped, and otherwise caused to make musically satisfying sounds. Since then, Ken has scavenged and adapted scores of objects, both bought and found, and constructed them into his own gallery of sound makers and sound shapers. As new objects are added to the inventory, Ken experiments by incorporating them into larger structures such as the busker. Eventually, each one of Ken's playable sound sculptures begins to establish its own unique, if related, character. Certain musical tonalities and contexts develop for each assemblage alongside its individual visual and spatial logic. When one looks at the busker, the first feature most likely to catch your eye is a teardrop-shaped conical steel resonator at its top. This shiny black resonator provides a sort of visual hat for the man-sized instrument and colors many of its near-field sounds. In addition to focusing and amplifying, the resonator also provides a distinctive reverberance to the busker's many percussive tones. Situated below the resonator is a 20-inch bicycle wheel with tuned spokes. Ken has positioned cardboard attached to clothespins with handles directly under the wheel. Think of it as the old boy on a bike with baseball cards setup, only filtered through a musician's sense of aesthetics. The handles attached to the clothespins are used to change the angle and pressure of the cards hitting the tuned spokes, giving the cardboard clicks a greater dynamic range. The sound one hears is simultaneously similar to a ratchet and a steel drum. Below the resonator and bicycle wheel are 4 PVC tubes cut into different lengths and played with 3-inch styrofoam ball mallets. Next are 3 aluminum chimes and a large spring stretched to about 3 feet. There's also a 6-sided aluminum star that produces numerous overtones. A tonal source that Ken discovered many years ago, which has been extremely useful in his sound sculptures, is the simple tin drum. As seen and heard within the busker, Ken likes to group together a few tin drums of varying sizes. However, these tin drums are actually cardboard canisters fitted with tin tops and plastic bottoms. Ken hand paints each canister in brightly colored patterns. The tin drums are then attached to foot-operated bellows that pump air into the canisters. This arrangement allows the busker to produce very subtle pitch shifts. The sound is similar to tones one finds on a steel drum, but with the added flexibility of a glissando. Continuing down the arc of the busker's spiral is an 11-inch vibraphone bar. There's also a 5-inch fine-tooth metal gear that has a very high expanding pitch. Next is a 12-inch aluminum disc with a long-lasting mid-range pitch. Then, 2 pan-shaped discs with short but very distinct pitches. The next found object on the busker is an aluminum exhaust pipe pulled from a kerosene heater. The pipe is musically versatile because it has a guiro-like sound when scraped and an elegant bell tone when struck. Ken then placed a drum 14 inches in diameter and 2.5 inches thick with steel top head and cardboard bottom. As with many of Ken's other drums, it's also connected to a foot-operated bellows to create a low glissando effect. The busker gracefully ends in a skirt made of 23 copper chimes cut into graduated lengths.